Oh, America, the land of the free and home of the rich. How did the US amass such a sturdy wealth to become the world's largest economy by nominal GDP and net wealth? Some say the US wealth is a result of being the oldest free market or the most international currency, or because it has such a mixed economy. Does this play a part, or do Americans work harder, have more military spending, or pay less tax? Perhaps it's the fact the US is the largest importer and the second largest exporter. Or is it because of democracy? Or because they have the second largest PPP, aka purchasing power parity? There are endless options to choose from and even more right answers, but in this video we hone in to some of the novelties that makes the USA so rich. Number 1. Natural resources. First things first, the USA is playing with a full hand, that's for sure. They have the 7th highest total estimated value of natural resources. As of a 2015 estimate, this was valued at $45 trillion. One of the greatest resources is energy-producing oil and gas reserves, making the USA energy independent. On top of this advantage of not relying on anyone else's pricey fuel, they're the largest producers of petroleum and natural gas, and therein lies a cha-ching. Where other countries nationalize natural resources, America allows private ownership of land and mineral rights. This has helped rapid development of fracking to access these natural resources. We aren't going to get into the politics of ancestral land rights or the environmental impact. That's an entirely different topic on its own. This video just points out some of the ways America got so rich. Number 2. War is big business. War is one of the oldest businesses of all times. Since caveman Ron opened up his first skull-clobbering chain store, people have been making money from the art of war. And nothing could be truer than for the USA. The US Department of Defense is the largest employer in the world, with 3.2 million employees as of 2015. So that adds a lot of employed consumers to the country with salaries to pay taxes from and to spend. Then there's the task of uniforms, equipment, housing, transport, catering, and communication for this massive workforce. All of this creates business opportunities. Aside from the US forces, early on the US government got into the international war loan business. Realizing that war is expensive, the American government made loans available to European states since the First World War. As the European states weakened, the American economy was bolstered with new business in the loan game. The Second World War offered even more opportunity to the US, and because their country's infrastructure was uniquely protected from the devastation of war by the Atlantic between them and Europe, they retained their industry and infrastructure when European nations had to rebuild. If you'd like to know some more about this, we recommend listening to Arthur Herman's Freedom Forge: How American Business Built the Arsenal of Democracy That Won World War II. You can get a free listen from our friends at Audible by going to aluxfreebook.com. Number 3. Unhindered labor markets. The US has excellent ease of access between workers and joys. They don't have restrictive labor regulations or state-owned enterprises that make the process of job-seeking difficult. They also don't have a lot of large trade unions that make staffing complicated and might put off companies setting up an industry in the country. This in turn keeps employers in the country, which adds to the economy. While the lack of unions does have effects on working conditions that can negatively affect workers, those problems are still brought into the public space and are improving slowly as consumers drag corporations online and stage boycotts for poor labor practices. And Aluxers, don't forget to click subscribe at any time not to miss any of our daily videos. Number 4. A system that encourages entrepreneurs. America has long been described as the land of opportunity, and while that may or may not be true, it does encourage people to take any opportunity they see and make a business of it. Fostering an entrepreneurial culture is central to American economic growth. There are no penalties or stigmas around trying and failing in business in US culture. Endless American success stories in the tech, energy, fashion, and entertainment industries all prove this. Of course, though, it takes money to make money, and the United States financial system is set up to assist entrepreneurs in this way. The The U.S. equity finance system is more developed than other countries, and their decentralized banking system lends to helping entrepreneurs at a local level. The country boasts more than 7,000 individual small banks, as well as having angel investors and venture capitalists with an appetite to invest in new ideas. And if you want to know which other countries give an edge to business, be sure to check out our video, The 10 Best Countries to Start a Business. Number 5. Working culture. Despite excellent resources and other forms of income, you'd be surprised to know that 50% of the U.S. GDP comes from income tax. A working population is important to keeping the country rich. America has a culture of hard work and long hours. In Germany, the average person works 1,400 hours a year, where in the U.S., this figure is more like 1,800 hours annually. Yes, some Asian countries boast over 2,200 hours a year, you might say, but 1,800-ish is pretty high. The U.S. tax transfer system also encourages increased earnings instead of penalizing it, which is a big incentive for many. In 2019, the per capita wealth grew by 13%. A lot of this is owed to the fact that wealthy Americans saved their tax cuts. Of the OECD member state, American citizens have the highest average households and employee income. They rank ahead of Switzerland and Japan. But in terms of wealth equity, they are not top of class. Number 6. Invention, innovation, and scientific research. The U.S. doesn't mess around when it comes to its world-class research universities. These lend to scientific breakthroughs, tech startups, and innovation that all lead to new business. Holding patents and licensing for new technology is also a great way to bring in the bacon. There's a large overlap between universities and businesses, which attracts top talent from around the world, and the U.S. knows how to leverage this talent for their gain. Number 7. Internal competition for business. Fostering competition on home soil is a large part of what keeps the U.S. so wealthy. The decentralized political system encourages states to compete for investment from business and property owners. This competition drives states to set their own taxation and laws that work to attract business and residents while protecting their resources and citizens as required. Some states offer no income tax or limit unions with their labor laws. Others offer quality education and low fees for in-state students at local universities. This decentralized system is unique amongst developed nations, but it's an integral part to how the U.S. remains wealthy. Number 8. Manufacturing and services. With all the business it drums up and the employment it creates, the U.S. has a huge population of consumers. Although there's a large discrepancy between the mega-rich and the low-income earners today, we're discussing the effect this general consumer power has toward making the U.S. so rich. Before exporting a single item, the U.S. has the largest internal market for goods and services trade. In 2018, combined U.S. trade totaled $4.2 trillion. What's more remarkable for a Western nation is that they're the second largest manufacturer in the world, so plenty of the goods consumed are U.S. brands. The U.S. manufactures a fifth of the global manufacturing output. Alright, Aluxers, with that said, it is impossible to cover everything in one video, so let us know down in the comments what you believe is the US's greatest economic advantage. We can't wait for you to join the conversation. Now, you stuck with us until the end, of course, you're getting a bonus. Does democracy play a part? The U.S. changes leadership between the Democrats and the Republicans every 4 to 8 years. Adam Davidson's article in The New Yorker explains that the Democrats promise to ensure the economic growth advantages everyone, not just the rich, while the Republicans believe that only they hold the key for economic growth. The truth is, they both play a part. It's the very fact they have a healthy democratic system that changes powers every few years that drives the consistent growth. What matters more than whether Trump or Obama is in power is general political stability, democratic rule of law, and a civil-led military with a bit of freedom of speech and movement thrown around for good measure. Neither party alone has the magic formula to build a superpower. In fact, it's what they have in common that's brought in all those dollars. Thanks for watching, Aluxers. We always appreciate your likes, and of course, remember to click subscribe for more videos every day.